E-L-O-E-J, a little aloha in our day. Spread a little aloha around the world. At breakfast with Bob.
Thank you, Poncho Man. Welcome, everybody. Breakfast with Bob, not quite Cone Edition. We are brought to you by Master Spas, biostarks.com, S Fuels, Hoka, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Quintana Roo, Zoot, Premium Plus Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Our next guest, one of the most decorated athletes in history, 2014-15 ITU World Series champion, two-time Olympian, 2016 Olympic gold medalist, more importantly, mother of two. Gwen Jorgensen joins us. Gwen, how you doing?
I'm doing real well. Yeah, I'm adjusting to life with our second child, but doing well.
Love it. And I was with one of your biggest fans last night. We had the Tri Club of San Diego meeting. We had about 160 people to see Chelsea Sodero, our Ironman world champion and fellow mom.
Yes.
And she says, watching Gwen win the Olympic gold in 2016, that's when her husband turned to her and said, you should think about doing this triathlon thing.
Yeah, because she was a runner. So yeah, she's really been amazing. I think, it's moms like her that have really shown me that what I'm doing is possibly not crazy.
Well, and you think about it, you come off of winning the gold 2016. You basically committed 6 years to getting there, going to the Olympics 2012, winning 13 races in a row, dominating the sport, winning the gold. The thought was, okay, Gwen's either going to go another round, go get her second gold, or maybe she'll go 70.3, she'll step along the distance. And you're like, no, I'm going to go to the Olympics in a marathon and win that. So yep. I love the fact that you're never afraid to do something that people don't think you would be doing. You're going to go in a totally different direction.
Bob, even my mom, somebody asked her, this was like months ago, it was before I decided to come back to triathlon. And somebody had asked my mom, I think it was in an interview, they said, what's Gwen going to do after the second baby? And my mom was like, I don't know. I never know what Gwen's going to do. She surprises me as much as she surprises everyone else.
Was that a tough decision after winning the gold? Because obviously sponsorship, everybody's going to ante up. USA Triathlon is going to go, okay, our only gold medal in history, we're going to go and try to duplicate that. And then you go in a totally different direction. How hard was that?
Yeah, I think, money-wise, I've never been motivated by money. That just doesn't motivate me. And, I think if you love what you do, there's a way to make money doing it. And I'm not someone who, I'm fortunate that I have enough money that I'm not worried about shopping for food at the grocery store. So I do have that privilege that allows me to kind of choose the route I want to do in order to be happy. But yeah, I've never been motivated by that. And that decision was easy in my mind. I was really, I'm just going to say like burnt out, I guess, of triathlon. Like I dreaded getting in the water. I just, even from the Olympics to the world champs that same year in 2016, I just remember everyday training being just grumpy and not wanting to do it. And just like, oh, why am I doing this? So for me, I really needed that break from triathlon to really start enjoying it again. And I surprisingly have enjoyed it. Like I actually just came from the pool. My face is like all dry and stuff, but like I've been going to the pool and swimming solo and not hating it, which is just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, that had to be tough because when you swim in high school, college, you get to a point where you just hate that black line. And the nice thing about triathlon, at least you're out in open water. There's racing all the time. Getting back into sort of your running roots and saying, okay, I'm going for the marathon now. Early on, and that had to be just really, really fun going, okay, when I travel, I need my running shoes. I don't need to be thinking about a bike. I don't need to think about where a pool is.
Yeah, I traded out my bikes for strollers and baby carriers. But it was a great change for me in just the training. Like every day was different and I was learning. I was like, oh, this is so interesting. This is totally different than what I was doing in triathlon. And, in triathlon, because you have those three disciplines, you kind of do something hard every day, whether that's in the swim, on the bike, or the run. But in running, you only have like 2 key sessions an entire week. And so it was really like, I prepped more for those like races. And so just the difference in mentality and training physically in marathon and running was something that was super exciting for me, even if I didn't do very well results wise.
Well, I mean, you think about it, I think you ran what, 241 or something at New York before making that transition, and
Yep.
got down to 236. But then you had some injury stuff. It's, you had what, heel surgery, things like that. And you hadn't had a lot of injuries as a triathlete, right?
No, I was really fortunate to stay injury free. And actually, when I switched over to running and I got my Achilles tendonitis, it turned into, I had Hageland's deformity. Even when I ran that 236, like I couldn't walk downstairs. I couldn't walk without a limp. So it was pretty bad. And for me, when I switched to running, I didn't even realize that there were tendon injuries. I was always like, oh, I'm going to be great. Like my bone density is great. I don't have any bone injuries in the past. Like I thought that was the only thing I needed to worry about. And so I grew a lot in that sense, realizing and learning all about tendons and all these other injuries you can get.
So when you make the decision that you're going to come back to triathlon, before, when you were, I remember talking to you, you were basically living in Europe, right? You to be a professional triathlete back then, yep. Your coach, your camps, everything was there, and you were very seldom in the US. How will it be different this time?
Yeah, it's going to be extremely different. We're going to base in my home base, which right now is Colorado, Boulder, Colorado. And so Stanley can still go to school. We have an au pair coming from France to help us out, which I'm super excited about. She just already is such a sweetheart. She messages us every day. And yeah, so the training is going to be, I used to be in a training group, right, where I was with competitors every day. And this time It's going to be more like a Gwen squad, I guess you could call it. It's going to be me and me kind of recruiting people. Like Pat's going to ride with me, and I'm going to find some people to swim with. And I have a lot of running friends here in Boulder as well. So it's going to be very, very different. I think, we know the basics of what makes me my best, but yeah, it's going to be different, and there's going to be a lot of challenges, and I'm sure a lot of adjusting along the way.
And when at first it was going to be marathon, and then became 5,000, 10,000 going for 2020, obviously the speed is going to help you, right?
Yeah, I mean, I did pretty well in the 5K. I was very happy with how I performed. I went like 15:08, and it was kind of like my third choice. I started at the marathon, went to the 10K, and ended up just doing the 5K. And yeah, I really want to do the relay, which is super short. It's like 2K-ish run at the end. And I had a really good 3K that I ran as well while I was running. So for me, that sort of training is exciting. It's different and it's fast, and I may be getting older, but I'm not so old that my speed has faded away. So yeah, I'm going to use that while I can.
It's interesting interviewing track athletes over the years. The one thing I'd hear from them, it's like, listen, I'm 40 years old and I'm running as well. I just have to leave more recovery in between my really hard sessions. I can run I haven't lost any speed. It's just, I have to understand, you have to sort of pick and choose. You can't do it every day.
Yeah. And you have to be super smart about, not only spacing out those workouts, but how much sleep are you getting and what are you eating? And I think the older you get, especially me, like I've learned a lot the last 8 years just on nutrition and sleep hygiene and how to really master those things. And there's also a lot more technology these days with, glucose monitors and power meters for running. And there's all this more data as well that I don't like to rely on that stuff, but it's definitely something that my coaches use.
And will you start your season like right in March, April, when things start kicking off?
I am going to have to start my season before I am fit, Bob, which I'm not excited about. Like right now, I think I'm able to run a continuous 20-minute run, like Jan 1 maybe. And I'm probably going to be forced to race in February. Ooh. So it just is what it is. I'm way behind the game. I'm 2 years behind in points, and the USA is so strong and so good, which is amazing. I love that. Right. But I've given myself a huge challenge here, and I need to just start racing to not only get the experience back, but get some points. And I think as well, I could hurry up and rush my training right now, so I'm fit. But the most important thing is to be healthy and just follow the doctor's orders on my return postpartum.
Exactly. Taylor Knibb, Taylor Spivey, Kirsten Casper, Katie Zafaris, Gwen Jorgensen. I mean, we've been since you
And you're missing a few
Katie
too that are like in the top 20 in the,
I
in the
know,
world.
I know. Now, those are just top man. But it's America is stronger than ever. And obviously a huge part of that is the build up to your gold in 2016 and what, you know, what Katie did and
Yep.
what Taylor has done and what Sarah True, that whole generation of women coming through USA Triathlon has really changed the face of American triathlon.
Yeah, it's really exciting. And I think, you know, even me, one of the things that really inspired me was the silver medal in Tokyo. You know, the relay.
Yes.
It was amazing to watch. It was fun to watch, and getting that silver medal and seeing them all come together. And I always remember as a child in swimming, relays were always my favorite. You know, you're swimming, you're competing for more than just yourself. And I always had my best, not only emotionally my best time, but like actual outcome wise, my best times on those relays. So that's a big motivator for me.
What do you take away from your time as a professional runner? Obviously, it's a little different when you're doing triathlon. You know, a lot of times there's races, there's age group races along with it. As a professional runner in marathon, there's age group. But when you run the track, it's, you know, it's you and those athletes you're racing against. What'd you gain from that experience?
Yeah, I learned a lot. You know, running is so time focused, and triathlon isn't at all. So like we don't even have a world record in ITU triathlon because it's
Right.
or world triathlon because it's every course is different. And in running, everything is just very time focused. But in order to get your PR in running, everything had to go perfectly. The conditions, the pacers, all these things. And you know, as well, I think I learned that I perform my best when I have tailored training to me. You know, I was in a group where it was kind of just like everyone does the same training. And for me, I really realized there's certain types of training that really are conducive for me. And so I learned, I think, a lot about myself through that journey of how to get the best performance out of myself. And I think I started to see that at the end of my running career. I still want to do a marathon at some point because I know I have a better marathon than I've done in me.
Yeah.
But I also think, you know, if I want to try to go for a triathlon, now's the time.
When you're watching the Ironman on TV and you're seeing Chelsea, who a fellow track athlete, fellow mom,
Yep.
18 months after having her baby, running a 251 and winning the most important triathlon in the Ironman world, what were you thinking?
It was amazing. You know, I think it just proved, as it has over and over again by these women in sports, that it's not impossible to come back from sport or from having a child. And when you
Yes.
do come back, a lot of times you can be stronger than you were before. You learn a lot about your body through that. And you get this mom boost.
One of the things that Chelsea was talking about, there's no reason why someone can't be a mom and a professional athlete. There's back in the day that was considered sort of taboo. Well, once you're a mom, forget it. But you and Chelsea,
Back in the day, just working.
yes,
as a
working at
mom
all,
was
right?
taboo.
Everybody would stay at home. But you
Yes.
and Katie and obviously Chelsea are sort of changing the game. That has to be sort of fun to be able to look at that and go, okay, there's no reason I can be racing in my late 30s. I can be racing into my 40s. I can be a mom. I can do it all.
Yeah. You know, I think I'm definitely not paving the way. I think others actually paved the way for me. But if I can inspire just one or two other athletes, moms, that they can come back to sport, that is something that I really want to do. I've learned a lot about myself after having our first Stanley, just that I'm a better mom when I'm able to have this outlet and to have a work and an identity outside of my mom identity. And that's something that I really hope others can experience as well.
So after Paris, is this something where, okay, this is actually a great era right now with Super League and PTO
Yes.
and obviously WWTS. There's so many opportunities for professional athletes, 70.3, Ironman. Do you see yourself staying in and potentially stepping up to longer distances as well?
Bob, I could give you an answer, but I don't think I'd stick to it. If I had to make a decision right now, I would say I'm going to try a marathon. But I have no idea. Like my mom says, I probably don't even know what I'm going to do. I feel like I'm constantly my motivation, I think in sport especially, you need to be motivated and you
Totally.
need to have a fire in you and something that like makes you excited, because there are days that are horrible. You dread it, like it's awful. I mean, there are hard days. So you really have to have that motivation. And for me, I have no idea what that's going to look like in a year and a half.
When you look back at the running career, what was the best race you had?
You know, I'm really proud of my Olympic trials race. I think I got 9th in the 5K.
Yeah.
And for me, I just remember like being nervous about even trying to make the final. So I made the final. And it was an event that for me, I was still learning. And I know that I don't think, especially on the track side, I don't have speed compared to the women I was racing against. I was racing against like 1,500-meter speed runners. And yeah, so for me, I was pretty happy with that race.
I remember talking to Bobby McGee a number of years ago, and he was saying what was fascinating with Gwen is she was running less as a triathlete than she ran in college and was running faster, right?
Yep. Way faster.
Way faster, right? So now that you're coming back to triathlon and you're bringing the raw speed from running again, you have to be excited going, okay, what I did was basically refine the skills I had to come back to the sport. The sport changes, but it doesn't.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's constantly changing, but you just got to swim, bike, run.
Yes.
Yeah, I think, the biking, I think will come back pretty quick. The swim, I'm working on it, and I'm pretty excited about what we're incorporating to hopefully match. These women are the best in the world at it. Yeah. Flora Duffy is coming out of the water first, so she's the fastest swimmer, fastest fastest swimmer. So, it's a tall order what's happening in this world, and the USA athletes, as you described, are the best in the world. So, yeah, for me, I'm just going to concentrate on becoming my best triathlete. And I think the most important thing is that I'm having fun through this all. And I think it'll be good lessons for Stanley too. He's at an age where he understands things. He has seen us, Pat and I both go to races, and he asks like, did you win? Did you get a medal? And, it'll be fun to explain like, okay, I didn't get a medal this time, and I'm still proud of myself because of XYZ, or I did get a medal and maybe I was disappointed because I did something wrong. So I think there's a lot of things that I'm looking forward to, hopefully teaching them some lessons through this journey.
One of the things Chelsea was talking about last night was you come home from a workout and you're sort of beating yourself up. I didn't do this, I didn't do that.
You don't have time to beat yourself up.
Yeah, your kid doesn't care. Right.
No.
It's like, where are we playing? What playground are we going
Yes.
to? What are we doing next? Right. It's like, okay. And that sort of, it gives you balance. It gives you balance knowing that, okay, this isn't the most important. This workout is good, but being with Stanley, being with my kids, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Stanley and George coming home to them. Yeah. So she's exactly right. That's what it is. You come home, and I think that's an advantage I would say parents have. You come home and you can't think about the workouts, because let's be honest, there's no one in the world who in a lead up to a race has a perfect workout every time. Like your training is going to go bad at some point. And if you can waste less energy by not stressing over it, you're going to perform better.
Love it. Hey, Gwen, so great to have you back. This is, I loved the running adventure was awesome, but having you back in our world is such a treat. I just love everything you bring to the table, and you're going to change perceptions again, just like you've done throughout your career from, hey, I'm going to start working as a CPA. Wait, what? Triathlon? What's that? Oh, okay. I'll go make a couple Olympic teams. I'll win a gold medal. I'll win 13 races in a row. I'll become the very best in the world. Then I'll hang it up, go run for a while. Then I'll come back to the sport of triathlon.
Thank you, Bob. I feel like you have been supportive of me through everything, through even the running, and that's been really very nice. So yes, thank you, Bob.
Love it. Well, I appreciate it. We've done a couple of CAF grants together, and that's been really fun as well. Actually, I just saw Victoria Mugo was out here for our event in October, and she's running and doing great. And she asked how you are. So it's
amazing.
Always my favorite thing. Love it.
Yes.
Gwen, give my best to the kids and the Pat, and we'll hopefully see you at races sometime soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob.
Gwen Jorgensen has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time. See ya.